And welcome back, Starcraft fans. Today we have a game from the Starcraft World 1 vs 1 League hosted on the www.starcraftworld.net website. This season has a $100 first place cash prize for the 1 vs 1 ladder winner. And I felt it was about time that I showcase once again a couple of games from the Starcraft World Ladder. And in this case in particular, we have a set of matches between Gangster Jose, who is here playing the red Zerg on the bottom corner of the map. And you've had about 40 or 50 seconds of time to look at the statistics of both players. They're kind of arbitrary and based on what I have seen from both players up until now. And they're honestly up for debate and change, most definitely up for change. Anyway, Gangsta Jose is playing West Style Life here on the bottom corner using the name of an old legend who used to play 1 vs 1 back in the day, about a decade ago, maybe even 12 or 13 years ago. He moved out to Starcraft 2 where we had some success in the Grandmaster tiers. And he's up against Because You Left, and Because You Left is one of the names used by the low money player Models, who is also the NYC Season 1 tournament champion. So that's something I just wanted to get out of there. And he's playing a Terran here on the top or left of the map. It's a Terran versus Zerg. It took me about 1 minute and 50 seconds to introduce us to the matchup itself, but of course you could have already seen that yourself. So as you saw in the statistics, Because You Left, because he's a S-ranked low money player, he has some amazing micro and macro. But because his main expertise lies on the regular maps, or the low maps as most would call them, I rated his experience a little bit lower. Because, well, he has simply less fastest map experience than Gangsta Jose does, for example. But that's all beside the point now, because he has managed to find his opponent on a cross-map scout, so to speak. Scouted the middle first, then went on to the side, and then went on to the base where Jose is located. And that SCW is just scouting. There's a very early gas coming out there. It was started at about 13:18 or 14:18. A lot of circles are coming out. Another sunken is being added onto the front because he knows that in a ZVT you need to extend that sunken line deeper into the middle of the map if you want to keep that Terran out. There's no academy yet for Because You Left. He cancelled one of the barracks, so I assume he's going to be going for a very early factory because he's saving up that gas for 100 gas and 200 minerals, 300 minerals now, and there is the factory coming out for Models. Which means that Jose needs less sunkens here, less sunkens clumped up and more spread out, because there's going to be a tank push, no marine medic push coming out from Models. That gives Jose a little bit of time to set himself up for a longer game, because once those tanks will start hitting these frontal sunkens here for the tank push to start progressing into West Alife's base, that's when he knows what he has to do. Lair's already on the way, he's added on another hatchery, and Models is just taking his time as he should, because he's waiting for that tech. At the same time, he's scouting the sides for Overlords and Zerglings and whatever else he can find. It's a very smart move to get himself information that to potentially deny Overlords on the sides. And this denial of Overlord vision on the sides is all... Wait. Can you hear the sound? Maybe I should turn the sound up a little bit in the options. Hope this is a little bit better. Bit more sound. Alright, back to the game. So, nothing has happened yet. The sunken line is very slowly progressing forward. There's a Hydra's Den already on the way, which means that her lurker aspect is being researched here for Jose. Is there a Hydra's already on the way? No Hydra's are on the way yet. Making a Queen's Nest so we can progress into that hive for the fire attack. And of course, the Dark Swarm to combine with the lurkers, which is honestly a really strong combination. Terran Starport is out. Making more depots, not progressing that quick just yet. Siege mode and siege tank on the way. No air yet. There's the control tower. I assume he's going for a science facility as well, so he has detection for those lurkers. But the lurker might be out just before the vessel comes out, which might introduce us to a very short-lived counter push from Jose with the lurkers. Up until, of course, Models will have the time to start counter pushing the counter push with his own tanks once he has that vessel up. There is no hovering engineering bay over the Sunkens. A lot of players like to go for engineering bay. They build it somewhere around here, then lift it up and hover it on top of the Sunkens to extend the tank range by... The tank range is about this, but then the tank range is about this. So it gives the tank a little bit more range to fire on whatever is in vision here. Because the vision the tank has itself is shorter than its attack range. Something you always want to boost. But I assume that he's going to do that with the vessel once the vessel comes out. Lurkers already being created here. Almost has that hive, adding on more gas because he needs that gas for more lurkers and the defiler mound. Got his greatest spire on the way as well for scorches, so he can snipe those vessels that are coming out later from models. Models very slowly progressing. He didn't make depots behind this line of gas here, which is slowing his gas down significantly because every single time there's an SCV moving around, so always build your depots behind the gas line there. There are the lurkers burrowing up right next to the tank. Tank cannot be unsieged yet. Models wants to take down that Sunken before he starts to unsiege. Yes, he wants to take down the Sunken, but he might in the process almost lose either of these two. Oh, they both stay alive. Does he have an SCV to repair? No SCV to repair those tanks. The tanks are in danger and will go down very quick once Jose starts with the counter push. There's the defiler mount. There is... That's still just the regular spire. He has more hydraulics on the way. So this is definitely going to be... Oh, wait. What's this? Models is going for the attack because he has ranged and stim. Does he have marine upgrades as well? No marine upgrades yet. These sunk counts... Oh, wait. There he goes. That lurker took out a lot of those marines. And that is very, very beneficial for Jose there. Very risky move from Models because now Models will be forced to pull back. Because he has exposed himself tremendously. And if he stays here within this area, he's going to feel the pushback from Jose really painfully. The filer is on the way somewhere. He's got Consume on the way as well. Models now adding on more factories. His economy is rather small because he went for a very late +1 command center. There's the comsat station. Very useful, of course. If that vessel does get taken out, he can always use the scan, or he can use the scan to just detect deeper into Jose's base and see what's up. He isn't making any extra vessels though. Or no, wait, he is. They just didn't show up on the production tab. There it is. I'm blind. I'm very blind. Scouting with that vessel because he just finished Irradiate and he wants to kill some of those drones. Does Jose have burrow for his drones or not? There comes Irradiate. There's the burrow. Jose's drones are safe, but he is losing some precious mining time by having to burrow. There's one defiler up there. There's even more defilers. So a single defiler there in the mix. And about 8 or so workers. Scorches have finished. Marines are moving up, but the Marines are not there in time to protect the vessels, which now gives Jose the chance to move his lurker swarm up there and take down this entire mass. This massive tanks is going down. The Marines have been saved though. Good reaction from Models to pull those Marines away, but a little bit slow on protecting his vessels. But this gives... I honestly think that Jose has the overhand here because Jose has not felt any real pressure from Models yet. And now the tables have been flipped. There's no detection here. 2 OR. There's the Dark Swarm. Marines once again forced to pull back. It's a lot of Marines. There's nothing he can do with those Marines against the Lurker Swarm. There is another Swarm. 2 double Swarms on the same spot. Lurkers are moving forward. Lurkers are within range. Lurkers are very slowly counter-pushing the map into the favor of Jose. Where is the vessel? Vessel is there in the base. It's not vessel on the way, I hope. Marines slowly pulling back. Did they lose the Lurkers? Lurkers pulled back to base. Which needs that energy. We should send that Lurker up very quick. There it goes. It doesn't have energy. I think the energy... The Dark Swarm might end before the Lurker has energy. I'm not sure. But even then, there's no detection here, so it wouldn't really hurt him in the long run whatsoever. Very slow counter push from Jose, biding his time, just building on to his base, adding more hatcheries, finishing up his economy, getting his upgrades, everything that he needs for a successful counter push. He's getting Plague upgrade quite early as well. Plague is absolutely amazing in TVZ. It helps take down those tanks, helps take down those vessels way easier than if you weren't using it. Two armories, both getting ground plating and tank, well, mech upgrades. Double command center, so he has added on to his SCV count. He's got a lot of gas coming in. Not enough gas yet, because his gas count is quite low. Either he's spending it really well, or the income is low. He ceased making SCVs, even though he should keep making SCVs here, because there's not much he can do here on the middle of the map. He's once again going for hunting with that vessel, but Jose has different plans. He's loading up his overlords, very quickly going for a different move, because he knows it's difficult to sweep over the map. These lurkers are taking on all those marines. That's not a smart move from Models here, because he's losing all of his marines, even though he did spread out his marines really well. Most of the marines went down there, and that's a huge loss of mass, but I think he's planning on replacing all those marines with mech. But he should have done it gradually, because now it's going to take him some time to switch over, because now he almost has no units to defend himself against the drop that is coming in from Jose over the right side of the map. Villagers with the mines, I assume, are quite good against lurker swarms, because you can place those mines on the low ground or all around here and block off the options the Zerg has with lurker placement. So that is a little bit of low map knowledge coming in for Models, so he can get himself that control over this section. But the scan came out for Models, but he didn't really get any useful information, because he's just seeing what he's always been seeing, which is not this. But he might spot it out with that SCV. He might spot it out with that SCV, but will he have enough time to pull back his marine count and his tanks back to his main to intercept that lurker drop? Where the defilers, 3 defilers, he's being very conservative, putting 3 defilers in there, even though he put them all in the same overlord. So a lot of lurkers coming in over the top side of Models' base. Is Models ready for this? He's already moving up his vessels. He's radiating 2 overlords, but he's not radiating the one with the lurkers and with the defilers. And he's radiating one of the defilers, but the Dark Swarm comes down right on top of the command center of Model. Models now trying to pull his SVs away, but SVs didn't get pulled away in time. He's slowly losing his SVs. Already lost 15 of them, 16, 18. There comes another swarm, and there's... how many lurkers in there? 6 lurkers in there, hammering away on that command center. There comes the vulture. He's gonna put mine in there or not. Tanks honestly can't do anything in this situation. He's lifting up all of his barracks. Fire bats running in, but fire bats don't really do all that much against such a huge number of lurkers. And Models realize what happened and inspired, calls his GG, leaves the game, and Jose wins with a very quick 13-minute lurker drop. Nothing too exciting, but mostly Models trying to, somewhat unsuccessfully, play TVZ. And yeah, Jose played this very smart. This is kind of the point where the fastest map knowledge specifically comes into play. Jose has more build orders, has a very great mid-game transition, even though the scorecard didn't really accurately display it. As you can see here, I think I gave Models some higher stats in some areas compared to Jose. Jose honestly played a way better match. Perhaps I should rate him a little bit higher for the next time, but I'm not going to adjust these statistics now. Instead, we're going into the next game. So let's load that next game up. Statistics, killed a bunch of units, of course, because, well, he got those lurkers right on top of the command center for on Models Command Center. Let's load up the next game. Where is it? There it is. This time, of course, you can see the game length. I hope you don't mind. So let's, without further ado, move into game number 2 between these two players. I think these are the only 2 games they have played. Maybe if they've played more games, I'm not sure. These are just 2 replays I happen to have in my replay folders. So, West Alive, aka Jose, on the yellow Protoss, up against Models, who's playing the blue Terran, here on the bottom middle of the map. Jose on the bottom corner of the map. hide the interface a little bit, and bring those statistics back for just once more. So Jose has a pretty good Protoss, 89, Models has a 91 for Protoss, and an 88 for Terran. And again, these numbers are completely arbitrary, and you should keep in consideration that these numbers are in context of the Korean players. So maybe I even rated them a little bit too high, because someone like Brain God I would rate at almost 99 on everything, honestly, almost 99 on everything. Maybe I rated these two players a little bit too high, maybe a little bit too low. Leave your thoughts somewhere, so we can dive into that discussion of whether I should even use a rating system like this or not. But it's a bit fun food for thought. Alright, so let's get into the game. And ignore the statistics for now, they're just there as food for thought. So Jose starts out with 2 gateways, and the pylon very oddly placed all the way over there, and it doesn't line up with this pylon, which honestly triggers my non-existent OCD, because I don't have it, but nonetheless it triggers my non-existent OCD quite hard. So I start scouting the middle, just in case there is a Protoss building on the middle, doing a proxy 3 gateway on the middle, which is very common for random versus random Protosses to do in the Starcraft World 1 vs 1 League. Models, of course, does the same, scouts the middle with an SCV, they've both scouted each other, and because the SCV was coming from the right for Jose is going to the right, and Models is going to the left, but then they find out that, hey, there's nobody there. Which now sends both players on their own separate paths in different locations all over the map, but more importantly, what are they doing? 3 barracks here for Models, there's a very early gas coming out as well, 2 Marines have finished up. Early gas here for Jose. That's the cybernetic score, so that means that this is a very botched, looks like a very botched Dragoon build, because this is not how you often do a Dragoon build. That's a lot of Zealots for a Dragoon build, but I think he is going to transition into Dragoons or into Dark Templars, I'm not too sure, but he's planning on exerting some pressure here on Models, because those 2 Zealots are hunting for prey. 4 Marines out for Models. Will he display his superior micro here, or will Jose get a good catch on those Marines? There, Marines get micro backwards. Yeah, that's that superior micro that we're seeing here from Models. Though Marines are not that difficult to control, unless your turn rate is really bad, then it becomes really hard to control those Marines. So the Zealots are just hunting for something to kill, going for the Academy. Very quick reaction there from Models, saving the SCV, making sure that none of the SCVs go down. And did he attack his own unit there? Not too sure. Anyway, more Zealots are streaming in. 3 Zealots coming in from the top side, getting us around on this Marine there. The Zealot is a little bit slow. Marine gets microed away beautifully by Models. And now he's moving back to behind his barracks, where it's harder for those Zealots to get onto those Marines. Zealots decide to pull back, because the numbers are honestly in favor of Models at this point. Academy almost finished up. You're steadily making more Marines, adding on depots. And there is a Dragoon range on the way for Jose. But no Dragoons yet, so it's still another wave before those Dragoons are going to be coming out for Jose. There's SV there on the top side, just still scouting. He still hasn't found where Jose is located. Scouts a little bit top side over there. Paladin in the front because he's planning on choking up, but there's no forge yet, so the choke will be delayed. But at least he can see anything entering his base through the front with that pylon. Oh wait, there's the forge. It's just the placement of these buildings is so random, seemingly random, that I missed the forge. But there's 2 cannons coming out there in the front. Zealots are there to protect the choke. 2 Dragoons there in the mix. Are more Dragoons on the way or not? More Dragoons are on the way, yes. This might be enough to keep Models out of the front. So Dragoons do very well against Marines and against Fighter Bats. But he's hunting the SCV, and there comes the attack from Models. Models canceling the cannon there in the front or not. He's getting attacked by those Zealots. First cannon goes down, second cannon goes down. Second cannon almost finishes. He didn't get the second cannon. Second cannon is going to be his lead, taking up a couple of those Marines. Marines are still firing away. Cannon goes down. Dragoons forced to micro backwards. But not micro backwards that optimally, but those Marines are taking a long time turning to the Dragoons. Up to the point that only 5 Marines are left. But Models comes out on top. More Dragoons are now on the way. Although there was a little bit of a lapse there for Jose, displaying a little bit of a lack of multitasking ability there. Another gateway coming out. Pressure is now on Jose, because losing your choke when you're going for such low eco build as a Terran And losing so many units against a Terran spells bad news, because now the game is in favor of Models. Models knows this. He's adding on barracks. He's getting a marine range upgrade as well, added on a machine shop to his factory because he knows he needs those tanks to start pushing in against the Protoss. But Models fishing for some counter pressure, moves his Dragoons out into the middle because he gets cut out by those Marines. Marines stimming in, chasing those Dragoons down all the way back to base. The battle there in the front is going down. There is still off a Doom, but there's no Templars arc up yet. He may call cannons there to protect his gateways and keep those Marines at bay. Models coming out, finding its way around the gateways, back to the side, trying to get us round up on the Marines. Marines are taking out a forge very quickly. Forge has to be taken out. Jose no longer has a forge. Dragoons pulling back to the cannons. Marines out of position, getting taken down by the cannons and Dragoons. And this is going to be a situation where Models will have to wait for those tanks, so he's got to keep preserving those Marines and the medics. Not lose too many of them to the Dragoons, because the Dragoon mass is going to keep ramping up. And instead of going for the Marines, looks like Jose is going for the Marines after all. Gets a beautiful surround on him, but he does lose a couple of pylons. Probe count is quite low, 29 probes and 31 SCVs from Models. Models still manages to at least take down a Dragoon there, but winds up losing most of his units. And I disagree with that choice from Models. He should have preserved his Marines and he would have had way higher chance of coming out on top way earlier in the game, because now he's needlessly extended the game by losing those Marines. And he gives the Protoss a huge edge here. You should have even put a siege tank here up on the ledge, so those Dragoons would have taken some damage walking up, or would have been kept at bay instead of their own base. Temple's Archive is up, Dark Temples are on the way. Models has a scan already. He's got an engineering bay as well. He's making turrets there in the front. He's going for the fight here again in the front. Marines stimming into those Dragoons, but they're lining up and blocking themselves, balling up. But the Dragoons eventually do pull back instead of spreading out to get a surround on those Marines, which I don't really agree with from Jose, because Jose could have honestly just spread out his Dragoons to the sides here and gone for the counter push and probably won the game there, because he would have killed a lot of those Marines and been capable of pushing up against these 3 tanks and those Marines right there on the middle of the map. But instead he chose to prolong it. Right, Dark Templar there hitting away. Where comes the scan? Where's the scan? Does he have scan energy? He does have scan energy. There's the scan. Dark Templars go down. Tanks have sieged up, and Jose is forced to pull back, although he does have superior numbers here. I think he could have pushed in a little bit more greedily and gone for the push there on Models, but Models is now deciding to preserve his units, because now he recognizes and he saw the amount of Dragoons that Jose has, and he knows that Jose is ramping up, and he knows that it's very dangerous to push into Dark Templars, because he no longer had scan energy, doesn't have a vessel, and had no turrets there in the front. So he's deciding to very slowly push his turrets up over the middle along this choke point. It's going to take a while before he gets there. Storm upgrade is on the way. Storm upgrade is already finished. Light Templars are on the way for Jose as well. More Dark Templars in the mix as well. And more gateways there on the side, because he knows he needs to ramp up that mass. 42 probes against 48 SCVs from Models. Got double scan, double command center, adding on more factories. Not placing them all that well, because once again he wants to trigger my non-existent OCD that I don't have but pretend to have, for the sake of having something to add that doesn't really add anything. Alright, so very slowly leapfrogging his tanks closer and closer, getting himself a very good setup here, but Jose has massed up quite significantly. 118 supply against 102, making sure to keep his Dragoons and Summons there on the side. Both Dark Templars got scanned and pulled into the aggro, and both of them died, but still got one more Dark Templar there on the side. And it's just outside of the turret range. Marines pulling back. There comes the scan. Dark Templar goes down. Models very slowly pushing forward, making sure that these tanks are always sieged up within range of these tanks, so they are protected against Dragoons and Zealots, so he doesn't lose them without at least leaving some counter damage against Jose. Jose playing it very slowly, and that is worrying me, because he's giving Models a lot of time to ball up, set up shop, get himself a very good spread and very good spread and tank line up here on the side of what is Jose's base. Jose now getting pulled in, but he manages to pull back before those Zealots take any unnecessary damage. But now he goes in with all of his units. You got four Templars there in the mix. All of them have Storm. All he has to do is storm this mass down. These two don't have energy. 2 storms have come down there. Now he gets to surround all the units of models. Models losing all of his entire mass here. And if Jose now decides to push in and push forward, he can honestly land a massive blow here on models. If it wasn't for those cannon mines now being placed here in the choke point. Choke point? Yeah, choke point it is. And there's no observer, no robotics, only units from gateways coming out. Oh, Templar goes down. A couple of Zealots there going down as well. More mines being placed, tanks being held there in the back. And now Jose is the one overextending far beyond his recent capability to fight. So instead he moves up and preserves his units and makes sure to set them up for a future surround. Still no ledge here from models. It always seats up so the tanks can abuse the ledge. And Marines there overextending, chasing those Dragoons all around the middle of the map. Dragoons, of course, a little bit stronger. But more importantly, what is going on inside of Jose's base and what is going on in Models' base. Models now has a lot of gas. He's got an armory and a second armory is on the way as well. He has a mech weapon upgrade on the way. Always stumbling with the word for mech upgrade. Or tank weapon upgrade. Scan used there for a Dark Templar. Vultures mining up the pathway into Jose's base. Jose's Zealots there still on the top. Managed to clear out all the Marines that were sent there to clear out those Dragoons. But of course, Dragoons stronger than those Marines. Upgrades on the way. He already has some upgrades. He already has 101. He's going for the 211. So 2 armor, 1 shield. Getting Templar energy as well, so he can get more storms up with those Templars, which is an often overlooked detail on fastest map for the fastest map players. Vultures going in. 176 against 171. This is looking quite good for models here. Siege is up. Starts planting mines. Dark Templar gets scanned. Dark Templar eats a mine for the counterattack, but he's going for the counterattack a little bit too early. Loses a lot of units there. Now forced to pull back. His gateway count is honestly quite low. He's got 5 here, 6 there, and 2 there, which is not that high. There is the 7-1 of that group. A total of 13, 12, 13, 14. Goes in for the counterattack. Gets a couple of storms off. Kills a lot of ground units there. A lot of units have come down to the storms. But the tanks, which are the core of Models' attack, stay alive. Vultures are on the way, but now the tanks are in the process of dying to the Zealous Dragoons that have spawned from Jose. For the kind of push, does he have a robotics? Still no robotics, so no counter drops. No counter dropping capability coming out from Jose. There's the armor upgrade for tanks. There is Vessel on the way as well. Does he have EMP or not? I didn't see. Hope you can tell me. And he's realigning his tanks, factories, because he knows he needs them aligned nicely if he wants to get the maximum potential out of his base in SimCity. Anyway, so far, Jose has managed to keep Models at bay, showing some pretty good adaptability, but he's sticking mostly to those gateway units, which of course he does need. But if he had gone for that 1 shuttle drop and managed to get that in on top of Models' SCVs, the game could have already been turned around. But whether he could afford it or not, that is the question of importance, because he might not have been able to afford the drop, which he now can. So the drops are on the way, mines are being placed, harassment from Models here, great harassment. He's keeping Jose busy, making sure a couple of those mines deal some damage on those Zealots and even take a couple of them out. 188 supply, 179 supply for Models. Tanks sieging up once again. More units are on the way, bunch of Vultures still balled up inside the base. Vessel there as well. So at least he doesn't have to worry about Dark Templars going undetected anymore. Marines stimming in, take down the cannon. Marines now focusing on those Zealots, but there's a surround coming in from Jose. But those Zealots, those Marines are doing a lot of damage on those Zealots. But more Zealots streaming in, storms coming down, top of the tanks going down, Zealots on top of the tanks. With Vultures coming in from behind to reinforce, but more storms come down on everything. He storms himself by accident. But it looks like more storms. How many storms does this man have piled up? But eventually Models does come out on top with a push, and he moves himself deeper into Jose's base. Another wave of Zealots has finished for Jose, moving in, but the mines are there to intercept the Zealots, and the mines honestly taking down a lot of those Zealots there. What's his status on the drop? He's not making a shuttle, so he's not planning alone for a drop because he's so occupied with defending his front there. Level 2 weapon upgrade on the way as well. He's got 2-1-1. Whereas Models is currently on 1-1. So he's already on the way, in the process of going for the 2-2 tank upgrades. Which would honestly, he's keeping up despite the non-stop aggression he's throwing at Jose here. But being able to keep Jose at bay here is quite an amazing job because Jose is very difficult to play into with this specific Terran style. Not many players have been capable of doing it aside from JH, Gold SB, and probably Kokanee to be capable of pushing Jose back to his base like this. Though I do have to admit, Jose's build order was kind of crappy. I'm gonna have to lower his early game score quite a bit. Because his early game build orders with Protoss are kind of, I don't want to use the word, they're kind of shit. Anyway, so Models is displaying how to use Vultures in TDZ by placing mines all over the place to keep those tanks alive, which is honestly making it impossible for Jose to go for a counter push here. The game is honestly already over at this point, because if he sends those Zealots in, most of them will go down to the Vultures and the mines before they can even reach a tank line, which is the most important core aspect of Models' push here. Those tanks which are hammering away all the buildings, all the production, all the Zealots from afar. There we can see, about 8 or 9 Zealots going down with a single mine bomb. That's massive. Absolutely massive. More units come streaming in. Model still playing at very high APM, 280. He's keeping it up. He's proving us that he is a very fast player. Got some great macro micro going on as well. Multitasking is great. Jose, on the other hand, is falling short by quite a bit. Losing what is technically a favorable matchup, but Models shows us all how it is done. How to play Terran versus Protoss, how to utilize mines, and how to keep the pressure up on the Protoss. Jose hasn't really shown us any solid Protoss play against any of the top 1 versus 1 players so far. That's mostly because he starts off with really weird build orders that always seem to fall short in doing anything really. And then he transitions into a really weird mid-game that doesn't really achieve anything either. And because that mid-game doesn't achieve anything, he's making it very hard for him to transition into late game, because the opponent, pretty much unpressured, just counter punches and start counter punching and throwing a barrage of attacks non-stop. So he's very bad at playing around the clock that is ticking that he has to beat. Now in this case, Models beat the clock before Jose even got the chance to really put any pressure on the clock, because the clock is ticking and Models came out on top. Really solid play here from Models. A bit different from what most Starcraft World players play in terms of how they play their Terran. So this is kind of like a breath of fresh air for me. Anyway, that's this game. And just once more, let's throw that stat screen up. Even though it's not really applicable, it is very arbitrary, meaningless, so to speak. And yeah, let's also make a thumbnail. So let's just do this and do a print screen, and we have the thumbnail for the video. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.